Hi there, I'm Leslie with the Bookmobile-Extension Services Department, and today I am at the Southeast Branch Library talking about how to digitize those precious photographs and documents that we all have. This is just a quick overview. If you want something a little more comprehensive, we do have a wonderful selection of how to take care of those heirloom photos. And I even interlibrary loaned a book. This was very helpful. I'll include these in the bibliography at the end. There's a few things that we do want to talk about, and the first would be supplies. So we need actually the first thing that we need is a flatbed scanner. And each branch of the St. Johns County Public Library system has one available. It is on a dedicated computer, so you will need to make a reservation and then know that there is a time limit. Next thing is a soft cloth. This came with my eyeglasses, and it is going to be used to clean the flatbed scanner. The other item is a soft brush, and this will just help us take off some of that debris that might be on our photographs and documents. And then we need to talk about organization, and this will do in just a little bit. Another thing we're going to talk about is storage. There's a few ways that you can store your documents and photographs on your personal laptop or desktop. There's the cloud, and that might cost money depending on the size that you need, or an external hard drive, or a flash drive. This is a high capacity flash drive. It's a 3.1, which means that it reads and writes faster. And this is my choice. I have a smallish collection that I'm going to be digitizing. And part of this is my insurance, because things do fail. Technology gets updated. So I've bought a few of these, and I'm going to give copies to my family members, so we each have them available to us. And then we'll talk about settings. But let's get into this, and let me show you what you can expect when you go to your public library. Scanning my photos and documents has been a project I have wanted to do for a few years now. And with the hurricanes that we've had, and as in the library book, fire, I think about these precious items that I have not digitized. So it gives me all the more reason to go ahead and do it, especially now when I have a little bit more time at home. And so just little by little, I've been working on it. But this is the setup at the Southeast Branch. We have our Epson 4490 photo flatbed scanner. Here's the monitor, and then the hard drive. And when you sit down, it will tell you it's available. And if you've made a reservation, that's great, because this flatbed scanner is on a dedicated computer, and there is a 1 hour time limit. And as you're logging in, it will give you those reminders that this is for 1 hour. Go ahead and begin your session. But you can log in as a patron, or if you wanted to log in as a guest. And on our desktop, you'll see the Epson scan. And what I'm doing here is taking that soft cloth and just wiping down the glass. You will get fingerprints, you'll get dust. So it's always a good idea to go ahead and clean it. And then even, as you're scanning, go ahead and just clean it in between. I did find out that this Epson 4490 also has some other really cool features. I looked up the manual, and if that's something you'd want to do, just to kind of become a little more familiar with it, through the Epson website, I did find the manual for this. And if you're using your scanner from home, but maybe not sure of everything that it can do, go ahead and see if you can find that manual. This is the flash drive that I'm using for my project. It's a 3.1, which does mean that it reads and writes quicker if it's connected to a computer that is of the same capability. If I have it attached to an older computer, it's only going to be able to read as fast as that computer is. And when we start this Epson program, so it defaults to a photo and a reflective, the 24-bit color, and a 300 DPI resolution. We are going to change this. The 300 just means it's going to scan your image exactly as. If you enlarge that image later on, it's going to become a little grainy. So we're going to want to up that DPI, and possibly you'd even want to increase it more than what I'm going to show you. There's some other settings here. The unsharp mask is a default, and that just kind of brings some clarity if there's any blurriness. And then the dust removal is a setting that we would want to click on. If your scanner at home gives you those options and you can adjust them, that's great. Mine at home does not. It's either an on or an off. So in my research, I read that it's better just to leave them off because there's not any adjustability. This scanner at the library, I do have options. So here we have the 24-bit color, and that's what was recommended. The resolution is the 600 DPI. If you have a smaller photo that you'd like to enlarge, you might even consider going to a higher DPI. And then here's some of those other settings. And this right here is where we're going to be able to change the format and tell it where we want to save our scans. Part of our organization starts before we even start scanning, and as we're going through our photos and documents, maybe organize them by subject. I have my grandparents in the upper left, my brother down below. I have a vacation over here towards the right. I have a home renovation. And then I even came across a holographic photo that I had. So I'll have to look into that one. Here's the default settings, and it automatically is going to want to save it to the hard drive on these computers at the library. And we do not want that, because once you end your session, it's going to delete everything. So we want to make sure we change it to other, and then we're going to tell it where. And in this case, it's going to go to my flash drive. Part of the organization is that we can help ourselves by maybe naming what this particular batch of scans is. If I'm working with my grandparents, I might want to say, Grandpa Carver, Matthew, and then it will just number them as I do scans. Each one, it'll go up a number. The image format, JPEG is a pretty common format. For this particular project, it's not the best format. We're going to want to increase that to a TIFF, and I will show you on this next screen. If you're at home and you're going to be saving your documents on your laptop or your desktop, that's fine. If you're using one of the computers at the library, please make sure to click Other and then have some kind of external drive that you can save your documents to. So we're going to browse, and depending on what subject I'm working on, I will select one of my folders that I have named. And once I've done these scans, then I will go in and give them an even better title with a little more description, like Matthew, River. If there's a date, I'll give it a date. If it was for a particular occasion, something that will help me if I need to search for that particular photo and I remember like what it was. So here's that prefix. If I want to, type in Matthew, and then it will just in succession give me new numbers. So here's my image format. Here's my TIFF. TIFF is it's an uncompressed format, which means that my scans will not degrade over time. Whereas a JPEG, it's compressed, it's made smaller, and with more use, you're going to lose something from that image. Whereas a TIFF, even though it is a huge file, I will be able to work with that for years, especially if I wanted to enlarge it. It's going to have that great quality. And then if I wanted to email one of these scans to someone, I could save it as a JPEG, but I will always have my TIFF file. So here we are. I have wiped down the glass. I have dusted off my photos. And for the smaller images, I probably would have wanted to increase the DPI just because I probably will enlarge that later on. And I did a preview, and this is what my scan came out like. So I've got my 4 images here, and what I will do, I could certainly do 1 image at a time. In this case, I went ahead and did the 4, and then I will just crop each one and save as. So by the time I'm done with this, I will have 4 individual images. My scanner at home actually recognizes these 4 images individually and saves it as 4 individual files. So this was my preview screen, so then I would just go ahead and click on Scan. So here we are cropping, and again we can edit this in Photos. So for each photo, I'm just going to click on the crop and rotate, decide which photo I want to do, crop it in, and then save a copy. And I will do that for all 4. Here's some documents that I did. This is my grandmother's handwriting when my dad was a baby, and I guess it was the formula that he liked and how often he was feeding. And then I have a one-year-old announcement for my brother at the bottom there. Now, when you're scanning newspaper, so that you're not seeing what's on the back side, it was recommended to put a black piece of construction paper over the top of it. And so here's what that preview looks like. And here are some Polaroids that I came across. The Polaroid company does have a recommendation for the best way to scan these so that you do not get those circles and kind of lines. And their website, let me see if I can pop them up real quick. Here's their website, and they have some great information on how to work with these Polaroids. And if you wanted more information about the Epson 4490, they have a very helpful user's guide. Once you've scanned your images, you might find that there are some dots, there's some rust stains, and we can fix those with photos. So I'm going to go in, just make a couple of adjustments. There's that scratch kind of marking on my sister's face. We have this kind of rust stain. So we can do that by edit and create, and then it's adjustments. And there's a few things you can do. You can play around with your photos and see if you like them a little more vintage, if you want to do some color correcting. And I'm just going to tap a little bit. And you'll see that I got a little heavy-handed in just a second. But we can fix that. I'm just going to undo and undo until I get it back to a good spot. And now I'll see if I can't go ahead and fix that up just a little bit. And now I want to try that mark on her face, see if we can fix that. And with just a couple of little taps, that mark is gone. When you're finished with your scanning project, please remember to take your photos. And then safely eject your flash drive or external drive. That just extends the life of it. And then properly close it by either sliding or putting the top on. We hope you've enjoyed this program. Here are the resources. And if you're finding that you either do not have time or not comfortable scanning your own documents, or maybe the materials are fragile, there are professional services available. I hope that this has been helpful to you, and also that you enjoy these moments going through those photographs and looking at your loved ones, or even remembering special memories from a favorite vacation. And then also the documents that are marking achievements either in your life or those that you love. So I hope that you've enjoyed this program, and I hope you enjoy your digitization project.